Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we are adding a new family to the rotation. And you know what I'm feeling today? I think maybe, that restoration kit came out, and I feel like I don't give enough love to handiness. All my Sims kind of repair their items for the most part, but I don't truly give the handiness skill the love that it deserves. And so I think today we are going to go in and create Tristan Neely is his name. And we are going to make him a handy sim. And I think he is going to be a handy person, okay? Um, but yeah, you just see me kind of double checking what he has. It's his traits are active, proper, and an overachiever, which I mean, that's all right. So he also has the aspiration that kind of has a little bit of everything in there, like reading, logic, handiness, and I think something to do with rockets maybe. The problem is I can't really double check what's actually included until I get into the gameplay, so we're gonna leave that. I think it's the right one, but I'm not entirely sure, so we'll double check that later. And now I'm going in and I'm just dressing him, literally. Um, but yeah, and I'm going in to find a hairstyle that I want. Honestly, lately I've been feeling like this Hallmarky vibe, um, style sim. Like girl comes into a small town and this guy is like super handy, super helpful, super, available. I don't know how to describe it, you guys. If you've seen a Hallmark movie, you already know what I'm talking about. And, this got me thinking that maybe around the holidays or something, I would switch it up and make a little Hallmark series, okay, or a Hallmark rotational gameplay because although I hate to love it, honestly. I mean, for books, I would read more of a spicy Hallmark. I find that's a bit more realistic than regular Hallmark, but yeah, I don't know. I thought maybe for the channel, we could jump into that, come the fall or something. Create like a little Hallmark setup, maybe in Newcrest or something, and just like build fresh. Spend a few days kind of going in and building all of these little homes and stuff that we want, and then moving in our Sims and, living out their best life or whatever it is we want at that time. Full disclosure, today there is work being done on the road in front of my house, and my dog is naturally wild. Okay. They have placed this like orange sign letting everybody know, like, there's work ahead. Someone's going to be there with a stop sign to guide you, etc. All of the normal things, except Stella is simply not having it. Stella kind of reminds me of Simba after Mufasa has told him everything he sees is his? Well, I have not told her that, but that is what she believes. So, back to the gameplay. We are moving Kristen into the goth house, but we are bulldozing the lot, you guys. So the Ophelia Villa is now gone. As I'm doing this gameplay, I find it so therapeutic to get rid of some of these like base game builds, especially the goth mansion. I don't know why. A lot of them have this very Victorian style, and some of them obviously I'm renovating, but at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, like, my goodness, I just wanna get rid of it all, but for the sake of the storyline, I'm keeping some of them. Now, here as some of you may know, roofs are awful, so I've adjusted the house to have a better roof in case you missed that. But yes, so this whole right side of the building is, gonna be the garage, I think, and we're gonna eventually have the restoration kit in there. Now, this is my first time truly playing the handy person skill and, like, paying attention, I guess, because we did complete it in the apocalypse challenge, but I wasn't really paying attention to the details and stuff, you know what I mean? It was survival of the fittest, it still is, to be honest, but I wasn't really paying attention. I know that you need the handiness skill and something else, like, to be honest, Pan really had everything he needed for that. I think he was literally made for that career. Like, I think that was his thing. But yeah, um, we are going to create a household and we are going to use some of these like salvaged items for our sim. I don't love the style of these items. Now, yeah, I don't know. I don't love the style. They're a little bit retro, okay? I do like them. But to place them in my lot, I'm gonna need to take a minute to love them just slightly. But I will. I will learn to love them. Now, I wish there was a way for us to like resell after they've been salvaged, but I think I would have to own like an actual retail lot. Like there's no way for us to sell something that's not um something that goes on a shelf, I guess, as a small business. So I couldn't just open a small business out of his garage to sell all of these restored items. So, yeah, I don't know. But, I don't think he's the type of sim to actually have a small business. I think, he's the handy person. He doesn't make that much. His extra money is basically building stuff maybe and selling it. So I think we're going to eventually have a workbench and we'll get all that done and this will be his home that he worked on himself and it'll be very 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 hallmarky, I guess. So, yeah, hopefully we have fun with this. Now, here's my favorite part. Here's the kicker. This fridge doesn't work, but it's got a watermelon, some deli meat, some juice, some milk, a couple water bottles, a pizza. Let me tell you something. The smell coming out of that must be ripe, okay? The welcome wagon. Who dare enter thy lot? Oh, it's like everybody. Okay, so we are gonna give him the morning shift for that career. It's everybody from the community. So we have Kiori and Scott, and then we have Brant and Jocelyn. Oh my goodness. You guys, I'm learning to love the welcome wagon, and I think it's only because I'm also playing these other families. And so it's like, I don't know, it feels right when we see them all come together. Oh my goodness. Do him and Scott look too much alike? And Jocelyn, they all kind of have that same look to them, don't they? Long lost triplets, maybe? Except Jocelyn, her skin is like purple or blue or something. I mentioned this in like week 1 with her and Gina. There is something about her skin that doesn't like look right. It's got like it feels like it's too blue, like the actual skin tone, but she must have a cool skin tone. And so I guess it's just giving off that blue tint to it. I try to stick to the warm ones because I feel like they're a bit more you know, not so blue. I don't really know how else to say it, but yeah. I know that there is a, reshade out there that actually tries to adjust the amount of blue in the game, and I think that's really cool. I think I wanna try that out one day because it never really occurred to me how blue everything actually is until I was looking it up and I noticed that there was actually somebody who was like, "Hey, I made something to kind of fix that hue to the game because everything is so blue." But yeah, and of course now that I've noted like now that I've seen that and I've noticed it, it's like all I see is how blue everything is. Like even the blacks, like everything that's black has this blue tint to it. Okay? It's like I see it everywhere now. So for me, it's for me, I'm, like, over it. So that's why when I look at Jocelyn's skin tone, it just gives that blue vibe. Combating a cold, you guys, the simplest method of combating a cold is literally taking a nap for your Sims. I think another one is juice, I believe. I think juice is also an option. Now, from what I understand, we are going to restore these items and then we are going to place them into our kitchen so that we can use them. I think that's how that works. Now, I also double checked. So, when I purchased this fridge, it is 750 simoleons. So, we are going to go and double check to see how much it is worth after we restore it. What I can tell you is the reliability is there, okay? 750 simoleons and the reliability is 8 on both items. I think it's 8 on all the restoration items, which is kinda cool. I think that you're getting your bang for your buck in that sense, but it is a very niche style, okay? And by that, I mean, not everybody is gonna want this retro style in their kitchen. So, it's too bad that it wasn't something that could be applied to all of your appliances, although that would create a whole other problem. But, yeah, I guess I would be asking for an entirely new system here, but, maybe there was an option when you click on fridge to, kinda like auto counter, but it would be like auto salvage. The ideas are there, okay? I have the ideas. I have no idea how to make it happen. So I have all kinds of ideas, guys, all kinds based on systems that already exist in the game. So, there's that. I'm not way out there with my ideas. Usually they're based on things that are already in the game. Like, for example, the color wheel, the color wheel. Oh, hello, Patrick. So, unfortunately, we did have a rough episode with Patrick and Simone, and it was quite devastating. I mean, they were my first ever family in this forever save file, and for those of you, of course, who don't know, they are a part of the member families, and everybody can be a member. Um, the lowest bracket is gonna get you all of the videos. Right now, we're mainly focused on the forever save. So we have about a handful of families. There's 2 videos a week. Um, yeah, but so Patrick and Simone, of course, the first ever family for my forever save file, and there was a little bit of a death in the gameplay, and it was really rough. Honestly, I, had to sit with that for a minute after it happened, after the shock wore off because I was not expecting it, it wasn't like, "Oh my god, they've lived such a long life and stuff." It was like, I was shocked, to be honest. Okay, guys, this whole system with voting, what is happening? Is this happening to other people? Is this new? Why? What is this just started happening not that long ago. Ooh, under what conditions? You won't hear me complain about 2,500 simoleons, let me tell you. Especially when you're starting out. Like, eventually 2,500 simoleons is like, put it with the rest. But in this case, it is exactly what we need. And of course, we're going in with the money making trash can. It's the best of the best. It's the cream of the crop, okay? And I don't know if you could tell, but I tried to put um, a sink above a countertop just because I don't like that the sinks don't actually line up with the counters. Like, I feel like work could have been done to make that happen and line them up so that they could actually fit together seamlessly. But yeah, it didn't work. So we removed it. And I'm going in with a blue counter because if we don't have enough blue, we will. No, but for real, I'm trying to use more color in my gameplay. I also want to keep this hallmarky, so I'm not entirely sure I'm going to keep it, or maybe if I'm going to keep the walls, or I'm not sure. Okay, so I try things out, and if it doesn't work, I change it because that's free will. Okay. Of course, I am using the pattern floors again. When For Rent came out, you guys, the amount of love I gave to these tiles were unbelievable. And I am not a pattern person. I am not a hugely colorful person, okay? But I am learning. I am becoming more colorful and I am exiting out of my millennial gray era and into my colorful millennial era. It is a change, but we are accepting it as we go. And yeah, we are going to go restore the oven. He's still uncomfortable, so he's still sick, so our nap didn't really do much. But it did help at the time, like, every time that they feel ill, um, we can take a nap and it will help us for the time being. If it doesn't, it means that they actually need medicine. That's how you can tell the difference between serious illness and just a baby one. I do love the concept of salvaging this oven, okay? Let me tell you why. It's dirty, it's rusty. We are actually going to salvage it, so he's working on it, and then it will actually, like, clean up, look fresh, and everything else. What I will tell you is, when you are placing your ovens, make sure it is the color that you want because once you have placed it, you cannot change the color. And we're gonna stop there for now. He's gonna get some sleep. We need the gardening skill, which I was not expecting, but I guess I should have been expecting that. Pan did do this, but he had the skills already, which is why I think, like, that's, like, why he was created. That's the kinda sim that he was. We're literally wearing his outfit. We're literally wearing his outfit. I'm getting, like, slight PTSD from that, but he is no longer with us in the gameplay, and we are not crying about it, not even slightly. Tristan earned $80 today. I think this might be the most realistic career that we have, work 6 days a week and only make 80 bucks a day. This is probably one of the most realistic careers. Wow. This and the salary person working endless amounts of hours for the absolute minimum probably is those are the 2 most realistic careers. I wonder if we married one with the other, if they would have enough to sustain themselves. So we are going around and we are going to harvest and dig up some stuff because, well, he does need the gardening skill, but we could also use the extra cash. I mean, let's be honest here. He's got $104 and we do need to pay the bills so that he doesn't get the power shut off. This is not the first time this happens. My goodness. A few days ago it was Gina and Tommy, but you guys, they're living in the lap of luxury and I quite literally overspent when I was decorating their bedroom. I got a little bit ahead of myself and then I realized I didn't have enough. So, you know, and of course, Gina only works like 3 days a week. It was like uncalled for slightly. I mean, could I have gone in and sold some stuff? Absolutely. Did I do it? Not a chance. But what we did have was Tommy was a surrogate and, in the game, surrogates can make 8,000 simoleons. I say in the game, but that's because I have the RPO mod. I don't play without it. You can come at me if you want. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. Um, I don't play without it. So, yeah, we were surrogates for, mm, I don't even remember now. Was it Alex Moyer maybe? Or yeah, I feel like that's who it was. Yeah, and she grew a whole baby and birthed it before Gina actually went to work for her first shift. So we were kinda lucky because we spent a few days in the dark there. Right, so we are gonna go in and try to work on some logic here. I did not realize that we had a little park area. Okay, and so we're gonna go in and work on our logic skill for the nerd brain aspiration. Read 3 books. I mean, listen, he can do those as skill books. I feel we'll get there eventually. Oh my goodness, he is completely depleted. Oh, and it's, like, right next door to us. Generally play in this, neighborhood. I usually play between the cheap neighborhood I usually play in the cheap neighborhood or the second cheap neighborhood, which is where, like, the pancakes live, where River Roost is. You guys, I gotta tell you, I don't know how many versions of River Roost I have done over the years with my personal, save files and, um, I actually redid the builds a few times for my builds for this channel, and every single time I think to myself, "I could do the bare minimum and it would still look much better." You know? River Roost, man, I don't know who made it, and I'm sorry it's gonna come out very harsh, but what were you thinking when you created that? Like, there was no thought process whatsoever, 2 doors leading to one main area, 2 steps leading up to one main area. I mean, listen, if the concept was that it was like a dual property, that didn't even exist until For Rent came out. Like, I wanna know what the thought process was. Somebody please explain to me somewhere. Just, like, 'cause I have a feeling there was none. It's the problem. Alright, so we are gonna go in and continue to restore this oven, but we are gonna go buy some books. So, yes, because his, aspiration asks of it, but also it'll be much easier for us to just buy a gardening book and read the gardening book so it'll count towards his aspiration and it'll work towards his career. It'll all just work out. Okay? Handiness level 5. I mean, okay. I've always wanted to upgrade the what's that called? Like the burglar alarm, the home system, whatever, to the shocking setting. Like I've always wanted to see what happens when a burglar comes in and they get the shock of their life, literally. Okay, for some reason, the books are not working where they are. So I'm gonna move them and see if that will work. You guys, I want to do a double oven there. So of course I have to buy another one, but not right now. Oh my goodness, they don't even sit properly. They don't like slide in the way I want them to. Oh no. Also, these books are still not working. So we are left to drag and drop the books into his inventory so that we can read them. I mean, listen, that's what we all dream of. So essentially, that is not going to work for me. We will have to get a real bookshelf later. Gardening level 2. Listen, I love it. Dust bunnies. Yay. Cassandra Goth is at the door. Sweetie, I'm so sorry. I recognize that I have bulldozed the house that you grew up in. Um, but this is what we're putting there in its place. So it's not quite the Ophelia Villa, but gonna do. Casually just standing at the toilet, still reading. Okay. Drops the book on the floor. How insulting. That would not fly in my house. You guys, books are like royalty here in my house. Okay. Now, I don't own many hardcover books anymore. When I was growing up, I owned like an insane amount of books. I had been collecting all my books, all kinds of books, right? Um, and I bought my first home in 2019. And in 2021, let me back up. When I bought the house, it needed quite a bit of work. Okay. It needed like the whole thing needed a facelift. So, of course, the house still looks like, you know, I don't want to say trash because there's no leaks. The siding is still intact. The colors are absolutely atrocious. Okay, there is lattice on the deck that is falling apart. I don't know how many times we have fixed it. It doesn't matter. What I did was I focused solely on the inside, and the only room that I did not touch was the bathroom because it looked like it had been updated, you know? And by that I mean like the toilet and tub were white, so I knew that it had been updated this century. Um, anyway, and then of course in 2021 there was actually a fire in the ceiling fan, which was quite devastating. I lost like everything to, smoke damage, which was probably one of the most jarring moments to walk into my house and see everything just covered in a layer of soot. But yeah, so once that happened, like, you know, my books were something that had traveled with me for a long time from like move to move, city to city, province to province. And when that happened, it kind of felt like I had lost a part of myself because those were, like, the only things that I had had throughout, right? Of course, there's, like, the clutter and whatever, but my books were the parts of me that, like, had come along with me in my journey, and it felt really like I had lost a part of myself when that happened, and so afterwards, obviously, I invested in a Kobo, and it took me a while to actually purchase any books because it's the weirdest form of PTSD, to be honest, but there it is. But, yeah, when I wanted to read, I would buy books on the Kobo, but it took me a long time to feel comfortable, again, buying books for my home because to me, I don't feel at home until there's actual books in my house, so it probably took me about 9 to 10 months before I purchased another, um, but I did, and, slowly but surely, I have been putting new books into my house, but, I only have, like, maybe 30 or 40 books now compared to my 467 that got thrown out, so it was it was a hard experience, but there's no books in the home, to me, it doesn't feel very at home. Books bring a kind of cozy vibe that like none other for me, but I also understand that people don't feel that way because a lot of people don't actually like to read, and that's totally cool. Everybody can have their own wrong opinion. No, I'm just joking, but yeah, no, I think everybody has their own things that make a home feel like their home, and books for me was one of them, and so if you can't get to the books, it is simply not okay, so we will have to buy him a real bookshelf. Now, we are fishing again for extra money because I really he's still got walls that aren't painted, guys. What is this? Surge emotion? Where does this come from? Um, where does it come from? That's weird. He just has regular traits and he's just a regular sim. So, okay, it says I want to go on an amazing run. Jog an hour. Oh, in the park. Oh, we're not at a park. Well, we'll just keep going. What's a casual run at 11 p.m. at night? Like, who's not having fun with it? Do you love that they're running, throughout the, like, trails that surround it, like, the houses and stuff? I love that when they run in the neighborhood like this. They definitely need to, like, actually go to the park and leave the lot because technically we're still loaded into his home lot even though we're, like, traveling off of the actual lot. My goodness, Friday, 2 AM, doesn't he work at, like, 6? This is not gonna go over well, is it? Click and go to work. I don't even know what it would look like for him to work from home. Here's the problem that I have with work from home. Love it. It helps avoid a lot of the dazed and brain block feelings that you have because you're only doing exactly what you need to do to get, through your workday. However, it doesn't actually automatically update. So it gives you the entire day and it actually gives you until your next shift. So if your shift is on a Friday and you don't work again till Monday, you kind of sit there in limbo. So you don't really know if you got the promotion or, if you're doing everything that you're supposed to do and stuff like that. And then you also can't see your daily tasks anymore. So there's a bit of a glitch there for me. There's like something about it that I don't like, but I do love the concept. Okay. I love the concept that they have the option to work from home. I love that it keeps them from getting super dazed and burnt out because you're literally only doing the 2 or 3 items that you need to do for your workday. Um, but yeah, I don't like that it does sit in limbo. I think at midnight, it should automatically reset whether or not you work the next day or in 4 days or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I have not tried it for him. Now, we have gone in and I did not get the bench that I wanted. I really wanted to buy the new restoration bench. I think it's so beautiful. Um, But we couldn't afford. We could not afford because that bench is like 1,000 simoleons. How insane is that? So his getup changed. He did get a promotion, and his getup changed, and I kinda like it, to be honest. I like it better than Pan's outfit, and I mean, technically, it's not really Pan's outfit, it's actually the handy person outfit, which is wild to me, it's always been for Pan. Ooh, look at the dust. Holy moly. It's giving apocalyptic, okay? Major apocalyptic vibes, not to the extent, obviously, like, this is gonna be a quick fix. I'm gonna buy him a vacuum that he can use because he has electricity and options. If anybody can tell, but, like, I'm not entirely sure what style I wanna go with in this house, so I've got a little bit of everything, don't I? I do like the floors, I wanna keep the floors. It's the rest. So I've kinda got, like, old school in the dining area, I've got some, like, shiplap style in the kitchen with some tile. I've got a lot of colors in the bedroom area. I've got some darker colors and some wood paneling in the living room. I just don't know. I just don't know, and to be honest, it's all gonna be based on what we can afford because I'm doing this kitchen in this, like, blue color, and I don't know if we're gonna keep that either. I think so. I think we're gonna keep the blue. I think we're probably gonna end up changing the walls. I do wanna start working on this hobby of his, which is handiness. I'm hoping he's gonna make some money from it, and then I guess we'll see from there what he can afford. And obviously, I'm sure eventually we will have him marry someone or, have like a girlfriend or, whatever. But for now, it's just him and he's like making the bare minimum and it's like pretty accurate for most for most people. So, I don't know, we'll see, I guess. I mean, technically we could like get him a loan, okay? So we could mother load the 50,000. Um and I mean, at the end of the day, he's going to pay it because he's got to pay it on his bills and the bills are like through the roof, to be honest. He's paying like 260 simoleons a week right now, and he's got almost, like, nothing in his house, so, he would end up having to pay that back, but I don't know, we'll see. Right now, by the way, I'm just using this handy bench or workbench or whatever you wanna call it, and we're just making stuff that can fit in his personal inventory so that we can kind of go in and gauge how much we're making off of these items. Eventually, we will probably make bigger ticket items that will have to go in the family inventory. But for now, we will just do what we're doing. Okay, so his promotion has him only working Monday to Friday, but he makes a little bit more an hour. So we will see if that will make any real difference. I doubt it because now he's working less one day, so he's already lost 4 hours, but he is making almost double what he was making, if not more. So hopefully he'll be making more. Devin Rowe, hello, son. That is Scott's kid, and they live not across, but, like, diagonally from him. Maybe he could mentor him, but I'm pretty sure Devin is the programmer kid, so maybe we won't be mentoring him, but maybe, like, Frankie or Lance or something, maybe he could mentor them in the handiness skill. I think that would be so cool. Right, so we're gonna go in and get that vacuum now that we can afford it and vacuum the house because I try to clean up everywhere I can since I can't do it in my apocalypse save, and so I really use the save file to do all the things that I can't do. It's the little things that do it for me, okay? It's a mass appreciation. We have nothing in this house, and yet we have more than there is in the apocalypse house, okay? Look at him go. He's still going. It's not picking up everything, so we're gonna go like, why isn't it picking up everything? One more time. Ah, there we go. It just picked up that little bit extra a layer of dust. So we are going to do a couple more horse sculptures, and yeah, I mean, I think it's making him some money. It's costing him $15 per sculpture. So I guess we can do a few of them and see what that gives us. It's costing us $10, sorry. And we'll do one more. Music lovers, sure, I love that. Don't know where that came from, but there we are. And that's it, guys. We are at the end of the week with Tristan, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And until next time, see ya.